All right, so go ahead and crack open Xcode. And we're going to show you a couple of ways that you can get started. So first and foremost, let's do a version check. So just make sure here on your welcome screen, it says version 9.0 or above. So it could be 9.1, 9.2. Doesn't really matter the number that comes after 9, but as long as it says 9 point something, then you're good to go. Next is this welcome screen. So you can toggle it to show each time you open up Xcode or not. It's quite a neat way of viewing seen the Hello World app tutorial. Just to quickly explain, this is what's called a reverse domain name, and it's the way that Apple chose for you to set a bundle identifier that is unique and identifies your app uniquely on their app store. So the organization identifier is what your domain would have been, so londonappbury.com, reverse, so with the com at the beginning, or co.uk or whatever. And this is just because, each organization will have a unique URL, and this makes sure that their app is unique on the App Store. So if you don't have a website, or if you don't have a company or organization, you can simply put com. Your name, for example, com.angela. There's probably not another person with your full name who's made an app called I Am Rich, but if they have, it's easy to change the bundle identifier later down the line, so don't worry about it too much. Alright, so we're going to keep the language selected as Swift. Objective-C is still supported as one of the languages that you can use to make iOS apps, but it's gradually being phased out, and we wouldn't recommend anybody to start. If you're starting to learn about iOS development now, you should start with Swift. We're going to keep the rest of these things unchecked, making a very simple app. We're not going to be doing any unit testing, and also we're not going to be storing any data, so we'll leave those unchecked and just go ahead and click Next. Now it'll ask you where you want to store your project. You can either leave it on your desktop or somewhere else. It doesn't really matter. But one thing to note is that make sure that you keep this box next to source control unchecked. So Git is a way of managing different versions of your app, but we're not going to be using Xcode for version control. Instead, we're going to be using GitHub, and we're going to introduce you to that in a later tutorial. So keep this unchecked and just go ahead and click create. Okay, and that's your project all set up and ready to go. So in the next lesson, we're going to be looking into the storyboard and looking at how we can design our app. so that it looks and feels exactly the way we want it to. Alright, see you on the next lesson.